Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum and hi. Welcome to another episode of Ezri Law Firm Podcast. So our host for today will be me, of course, Zaim, and we also have our Puan Hanani, or known as Kak Nani here in the office. So today, Kak Nani, what are we going to talk
Yes.
about for this special episode?
Okay, Zain, before that, just nak highlight sikit. For today's episode, we are doing it a bit different from what we
Mhm.
do in our previous episodes because we are actually recording from different offices. One is from our Penang office and then another one is from Bangsa office. So it doesn't matter because what we are going to talk about today will be something of interest for our clients, business owners, potential business owners, because we are going to talk about different type of business entities and why does it matter. Yep.
I think that's business, right? Everyone wants to make profit, but some might say that they don't want to take some risk. So hence why we make this special episode, doing it remotely, to explain about the common types of business entity, so
Yes.
that these people would say that, oh, they will know what is the most suitable common, perhaps the business entity that they would like to pursue, and also to mitigate risk while also raising profit. So Kak Nani,
Yes.
how about the common type of business entity?
Alright, so Zain, what we will do today is to share some of
Mhm.
the common type of business entities. But I think this will be something a bit more technical because different individuals may have different needs and different, there is no size that can fit all. So I think our goal today is to just to share or provide an overview
Mhm.
overview, and we will not be going too much into the details because we are not going to tell you what kind of business type that you should choose. It's just to provide an overview, just a bit of a sharing session. So perhaps we can invite business owners later on who have been in the business itself to talk about more details on the risk when it comes to doing business in our later podcast. So,
Okay.
coming back to your question, Zaim, the most common types of business are number one is sole proprietorship. Secondly is partnership. And then recently, people are getting more interested in limited liability partnership. And fourth one is company. So when we do our financing files, I think we have come across all types of business entities when we do our assignment.
Mhm.
And I think it's good because we have actually cited different kind of business documents for each type of business entity. Yeah.
I think like having said that, right? So just to recap back, that we have sole proprietorship,
Yep.
we have the partnership, which also
Yes.
can be also generalized, specified into a limited liability partnership, and also we have a
Yes.
company. But for
Yes.
the layman would say that they would often heard about Senia Berhad,
Mm.
Enterprise. So these are the examples of the common type of entity.
True.
So
True.
I believe that these four common types, right, we have a different, or perhaps there's a salient elements or characters that we should address, perhaps in a very brief and understandable manner first.
Mm-hmm.
Bukan so in a setting for sole proprietorship and also partnership, right? Some might say that the limited or the partners, or the director or the person owning the business should be less than 20. Is that correct actually?
If you're talking about partnership, it has to be max 20 partners. Yes.
Okay.
But when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to sole proprietorship, it's just one man show, basically. So let's say if you open up a sole proprietorship, Zain, that means you
Mm-hmm.
are the business owner, you own the business, and you and the business are the same person. So that's what sole proprietorship means in the context of Malaysian law. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we will dive into more details of each of the business type in a few minutes. So
Mm-hmm.
Zaim, what do you think one should consider or ask themselves when they choose a business type? What do you think is that?
I think that's a very interesting question, right? Because it relates back to the whole purpose of business, whether you want what type of business, say neighborhood or enterprise LLP, right? The main focus is actually to raise more profit, to raise more money, capital. But again, you have to mitigate risk. So we talk about risk. There's this salient or character on elements of the personal liability protection. So in regards to the liability of the business, does it falls on the business alone, or does it merge to the owner itself also, or it depends actually the how level of the risk that the owner itself willing to
Mm,
put in,
true.
because in the end of course, you want to protect the business and also to protect yourself. But certain types of business itself, they have accommodate that, for instance, sole proprietorship, as mentioned by Anani just now, that is a one-man show. One-man show meaning that your liability of personal assets all is mixed together. So you are
Yep.
exposing ourselves perhaps to a greater liability that in the event that, let's say, we take some loan, the bank will go after our own personal assets compared to having a LLP or perhaps a certain
Yes.
partnership or certain member type. So in that
True.
sense, the idea of securing the business itself must also be based onto the level of limit liability that the business owner willing to put protect, whether to put away to differentiate the business entity itself together with the owner or to merge as a one-man show. So is it really that simple, Kanani, on limited liability itself? Do you have anything to add? Mhm.
Yes, actually, it's really that simple. But a sole proprietor needs to understand that the owner's liability, as what you mentioned just now, Zaim, business owner's liability to his or her business is unlimited. So just to highlight or to recap back what you said, personal income or assets of the owner for a sole proprietor will not be protected if the business is declared bankrupt or it is in debt. And then another thing, maybe a little bit just to kita nak macam patah balik kan, just to highlight a bit on the structure or features of a sole proprietorship, because some people they prefer to have a sole proprietorship because it's simple. You can just go walk into SSM counter. I'm not really sure about the procedures, but this is what I have learned from other friends. Like you can just walk over the counter at SSM. You just need to fill in some form, some borang, then you just have to pay some fees, and ta-da, you are a business owner. Yeah. So that's why some people prefer to have sole proprietorship as their business. But just to highlight, sole proprietor must be Malaysian citizens, and permanent residents can register this entity. So like I said, you have to pay an annual fee to the CCM, which is Companies Commission of Malaysia, Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia, to keep the registration renewed. So just recently, I received a query because dia punya sole proprietorship, dia punya business is sole proprietorship. And then dia punya business tu dah, I think dia tak renew for quite some time. So what dia kena buat apalah, dia tanya kan. So basically memang you need to revive, in order for you to revive back the business, you need to go to the SSM counter lah. Macam tu. So make sure to pay your annual fee to CCM for all sole proprietorship. Must make sure you must make sure that you pay your annual fee to CCM. Kalau tak, nanti you punya status akan considered inactive lah. Nanti you can be dissolved by the registrar of business lah. Okay.
I think like just to add on, I think there's a recent news mentioning that the CCM will also be conducting an auto dissolution of a certain enterprise, certain company that has not revived or has not been active for a certain period of time. So that should be like I would say a reminder for the future business owner, right? Because I feel like even those that niaga nasi lemak ke, pisang kubis ke, they also have an opportunity to actually sign up for sole proprietorship, because not only they can formalize their business, but also they can entitle to certain government grants that can also help their business better.
Yes.
And also, I think just to put things into perspective, it's quite easy to maintain the sole proprietorship because they are not mandatorily subjected to do the annual filing or anything as compared to the requirements set for a single itself, right? So, but
Good point, Zaim.
right. I mean, like the whole idea, interestingly, for sole proprietorship is a good way to start your business journey on the long run, and just a little bit concerned on how to mitigate risk in terms of your liability protection lah. If you're willing to step up to take to attract liability for your business, then it should be considered to have the next step or converting to sustainable height. So having that said, right, Kak Nani, do you think that there are better business entities that we should be pursuing or suggesting to our viewers or listeners here?
Assalamualaikum, hi, I am Zaim. I'm currently a junior associate at Azu Law Firm. My main
area of practice is global banking and corporate commercial.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a junior lawyer and the latest addition to the GBCC team. The GBCC team is the Gen Z or the youngest generation in the firm. We comprise of 5 lawyers, 1 partner and 2 admin staff.
What we do here in GBCC, basically, we assist the customers, namely companies, in their making their corporate financing, conveyancing, commercial agreements and other matters related to companies, not necessarily relating to financing, but as to their nature as a whole.
So basically, we strive to deliver practical and professional guidance to our diverse local clientele.
I think one of the most common cases we handle is satisfaction of charge. This is a situation where the company fully repays their loan to the bank, or maybe the property are free from the charge. And then this satisfaction is related to ROC, so that the assets or property which are free from the restriction can be updated in the system.
Our clients are basically corporates, companies.
We also becoming the partnership for several banks and have been one of the trusted teams in handling corporate matters since 2 years back, being our establishing years. Hi everyone, welcome back to the SG Law Firm podcast. So next, we will be continuing to our second, third and fourth discussion for today, where we talk about sole proprietorship, right, just now with Kak Nani. So Kak Nani, how about the next or the other different types of business entity, partnership and whatnot? Can you explain a bit?
Yes, so the next most common one is of course partnership. So partnership ni is bila you ada 2 or more partners. They combine their resources together, their skills, their knowledge to carry out business with the goal of generating profit. So partnership can be registered with the CCM as well. But for example, partnership, yes, you can register with CCM. And partnership is usually what do you call favored or preferred by, for example, auditors and law firm. Like for example, Esri Law Firm pun is a partnership as well. So just to highlight, only Malaysian citizens and permanent residents are allowed to register partnership. This is similar to sole proprietorship. So partnership agreement, usually for partnership, each partner or all the partners will formulate an agreement among them. So this agreement will outline their responsibilities and liabilities of each partner. So basically, they are bound by the partnership agreement. So the business partners under a partnership, they will share profits and liabilities of the business of the firm. And the partnership is not required to pay any tax, but the partners will be taxed as individuals and have to report their profit and losses. Like sole proprietorships, the partners in partnership, the partner's liability is unlimited as well. Yeah.
I see. So you're saying in a sense that partnership itself is quite similar to sole proprietorship.
Yes.
The partnerships, I think everyone is a partners and has equal standing, is it? Is that what you're doing?
Yes. But of course, you can always macam set out lah what are your liabilities, what are your obligations. Because like I said, for partnership, different people may have different resources. They just combine and then they decide to form a partnership together. So maybe some people have different obligations. The other person ada different roles in the partnership, in the firm. So it's best that you have a partnership agreement to make sure that all your rights and liabilities are governed under it. So if anything happen in the future, then you can always fall back to your partnership agreement.
I think like the most salient part in the partnership, apart from specifying our obligation, tax and everything, the important to formalize in a strong partnership agreement itself, because everything when it's written, then it's agreed between all partners. Yet again, just like a sole proprietorship, right? So the liability, the liability of the partners is still limited. So does that mean that the level of liability attracted is more than the sole proprietorship? Would you say otherwise?
Yeah, probably, because in terms of liabilities, it's actually shared across all the partners. So yeah, because like sole proprietorship is just one person, meaning carrying all of these roles alone. And then he or she has to bear all the liabilities on his own as well. So probably for firms, if you have a group of friends who wants to do business together, then maybe partnership is suitable for you. But in terms of liability, as we said just now, it's still unlimited. Yep.
Okay, so talking about partnership, right? I think if I'm not mistaken, the whole structure or framework of partnership in Malaysia, we have the ones under the CCM, we also have the ones under our own partnership act. But the huge, I would say, trend in the last few years or 10 years is the trend for certain people to merge, but to opt for a partnership, but in the form that is limited.
Yeah,
We call
yeah,
it
yeah,
as a
yeah.
limited liability partnership,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So
yes.
is that much different from a normal partnership?
Yes,
Or we
yes,
have a better, yeah.
it's actually like a combination of a conventional partnership and a corporation or like a company, because generally speaking, LLP, it provides limited liability status to the firm, to the partners, and it offers flexibility of internal arrangement through an agreement between the partners. So this combination will actually give business owners or entrepreneurs a more structured business vehicle compared to a sole proprietorship and a conventional partnership. It provides flexibility of controlling the business operation in accordance with the partnership agreement, whilst enjoying the limited liability status. So is this the same in terms of partnership? They will have to form up a partnership agreement, because this is actually a requirement under the LLP Act. They need to have a partnership agreement. But in terms of liability, it's limited liability. The status of the partnership is limited liability. Yeah. So of course, I think more people are inclining towards LLP as a business vehicle, because it offer a lot more simple. It only costs you like a very simple and flexible procedures in terms of registration, in terms of maintenance, in terms of termination. While at the same time, you are able to bring your business at domestic level and international level. So LLP is actually very common in other countries. For example, the USA, the United Kingdom, Singapore, India, and Japan, as an alternative business vehicle for business owners. Yeah.
And I think I would like to echo the whole concept of LLP, right? Because not only that the liability is limited, but actually the partners can have more security knowing that they're still bound by this partnership agreement lah. But they are more freely and flexible, as you said just now, to operate within the realm of but at the same time not attracting more liability compared to still being a normal conventional partnership. So I believe that if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you like the last time we went to Singapore, I think in Australia or UK, the whole name like the firm or the auditor's name is always like McKinsey LLP. So it's a branding that people are aware that LLP is a form of partnership, not amounting to a full-fledged company, but it still provides perhaps not more, but the same liability or security as a company would provide. So in that sense, right, I believe that considering the trend, the use of the doing out startups, then LLP could be the correct vehicle to explore the options in the business journey. So having said that, it's not fair for us to not talk about I would say not over glorified, but the most common, if you saw about along the street, that's in the Berhad, full-fledged company and everything, right? So, but before we proceed, let's have a short break.
I'm Abid Rahman, senior partner at SZ Law Firm and head of litigation, specializing in the employment law, banking law, Sharia law, judicial review, insurance and related claims, and medical negligence. I have experience in conducting and appearing before the subordinate courts, high courts, as well as the appellate courts in Malaysia.
for still staying with us. So, as spoken in the previous sections, right? So we've talked about super proprietorship, we've talked about partnership, we've also
Partnership.
talked about LLP, right?
LLP, yes.
So having that said, I believe that at this point, before we reach to the company setting or the further elaboration of company, some of our viewers or listeners would say that okay, I believe that LLP would be the greatest or would be the best vehicle company or vehicle for me to sign up
Business
for
vehicle,
my
yes.
business, right? But again, like why would one choose to register an LLP and not just full-fledged company, Kak Nani? What is your view on this?
Yeah. In my view, it is mainly due to the stringent requirements, compliance requirement applicable to companies. So as you know, Zaim, like companies is a type of business incorporated under the Companies Act 2016. So it may have a lot more complicated administration processes. I mean, in the previous Companies Act, they have a lot more requirements. For example, you need to hold an EGM, etc. But this is being removed by in the new Companies Act 2016. But still, I think in terms of compliance and administration, it's a lot more stringent. There are a lot more things to comply with for companies as compared to LLP. So, and then at the same time, some of the things or forms you need to lodge it to the CCM. So it's very important that I mean it's a mandatory requirement for you to have company secretary for company. So I think this could be one of the many reasons why people are inclining towards LLP instead of companies. Yeah.
Correct. If I'm not mistaken, that compared to LLP, super proprietorship, or partnership in general, company itself has many bylaws, rules, and they have even the specific guideline on directors' duties and liabilities. Specific, mandatory. If in the case of breach, they are bound for penalty and also imprisonment.
Yes.
So going just to echo back for an LLP, there is still certain level of duty, but not as maximized or certain very administrative duties as set up by the Companies Act, and also certain bylaws and everything. So in the sense that they have more rules to follow, LLP might not. Right. So going back to the company nature itself, one must realize that regardless whatever stage of business entity that that the business owner is currently in, they can always opt to convert after reaching a certain qualification to be set and to submit the correct forms at the Companies Commission Malaysia via the online or counter platform. So
True.
how about company, Kak Dani? Would you say that it's best business entity that we have in Malaysia right now for people to start?
Yes. Like company, there may be a lot more options for company because company can be incorporated as company limited by shares. It can be company limited by guarantee, or it can also be an unlimited company. So in terms of company, as you know, it's basically separate legal entity from the owners, the directors, and the company itself. So owners are liable only, or shareholders. This is when we're talking about shareholders. They are only liable to the amount that they have contributed to the company, and the personal assets of the shareholders will be left untouched if something happens to the company. So private limited company is actually one of the most common type of business preferred by foreign investors because foreigners can have 100% ownership in a private limited company in Malaysia. But despite these attractive features, Zaim, I mean, companies are expected to meet with a high level of financial and compliance reporting standards, which necessitates stricter regulation. So that's why, like you said, we have the Companies Act 2016, where in the Companies Act itself has provisions on like offenses by directors. I mean, how do you appoint or remove your auditor? It's all laid out inside the Companies Act, and it needs to be complied with. So it could be one of the major factors, just to highlight again, one of the many factors why business owners are leaning towards LLP compared to companies, despite that companies have a lot or more options because it can be, like I said, company limited by shares, etc., etc. But still, the trend now is people going towards LLP because in terms of compliance and in terms of reporting requirements, etc. Yeah. Mm.
I think I really agree that owning setting up a company is a really big deal, honestly, because not only the up to the directors, but to a certain extent it can bind also including the auditors, the shareholders, depending on the subject matter or perhaps the industry that the neighborhood or the company is actually involved in. But regardless
Yes.
of the trend of the LLP, regardless of the compliance that to this extent might feel like a huge barrier as a startup who wishes to set up a company right away. But having a company is actually something it can, I would say that it can absorb the public confidence in certain aspect in certain industry. So let's say that there are many I would say the Asia, Malaysia Airlines, there's these big companies, they have good public confidence in the sense that they have good compliance, they have good managerial aspect, administrative, tax and everything. And it shows it can be further interpreted that setting up a company is actually has a good future in the Malaysia setting. Because not only that, setting up a company not only binds you your obligation, but it mandatory you to comply with stricter regulations by the auditor, by the CCM. Because honestly, to the trend of, I would say, the company law cases that we have been reading everything, right? So every single time the I would say the judgment come out, it really puts the director's liabilities as one of the main consideration. So these are the things that if people would like to set up a company, that these are the things that they have to really think through and to actually participate in the operation of the company. Though that some might say that just because you are non independent executive director, you are not involved in everything, but it's a case to case basis. So with that said, after that, we've understand, though the company could be complex kat Nani, right? So certain very complex issues from perhaps from converting to a private limited company to a public limited company, still people would opt to set up company anyway. So having that said, I would say that we've come across from sole proprietorship to partnership, and then we have the most trending LLP. And after that, we've also shortly discussed about company itself. So in essence, Kanani, would you say that many people would convert from this sole proprietorship to company real soon? Is that something that we can look forward to?
Yes, I mean conversion. Usually, what we hear is conversion from LLP to company or vice versa. So, like company to LLP. But if a sole proprietorship, then you need to do from A, which is to incorporate the company. You need to lodge a constitution. You need to register with the CCM, etc., etc. Yeah.
Interesting, because I feel like now that we have laid out a general overview on how these common types of business entities works, right? So it is up to the business owners to really sit down and understand what is actually the type of business that would suit to their current present business operation. Because some might say that just because I would say that of course it is not a one size fit all situation, but it's best to make a business decision that is actually good for the company and you as a business owner. Though that we have to bear in mind that regardless of business type of business, it would still attract certain level of liability, but it is how we mitigate liability, perhaps to the certain protection actually by the law, perhaps by following compliance and everything. So we understand that the unique features and the benefits of these entities, and it is important again to access our business objectives, risk of course, taxation requirements of course, compliance, and most importantly, I would say some might not be following is the money that will be involved in the whole operation and managing your type of entities. So Kak Nani, I think we have provided a very lengthy discussion. Would you like to add up anything?
Okay, Zaim, just to wrap up, I think understanding different type of business entities in Malaysia is crucial when you want to set up a successful business, because each entity has its own unique features and benefits. So like you said, Zaim, it's important to assess your business requirements, the level of risk involved, and your compliance requirements. So yeah, if our viewers are unsure about what type of business that you should pursue, what we would advise as lawyers is to always consider getting professional advice from lawyers, and just to make sure that you are making an informed decision. Yep. So we at SJ Law Firm are more than happy to help our clients at any time.
Okay, great. So I think we've had a very interesting podcast as for this episode, because at least though that our viewers might be not like as young as a baby, but actually if you would like to consider to set up a company, you know your goals, you know your roots, and you know where to find us. And with that
Yes,
note,
correct.
thank you so much everyone from me and Karani for spending time with us in your car, in your relaxed time, and please stay safe. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care. Assalamualaikum. Bye bye.
Assalamualaikum. Bye.